The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the human ship, the U.S. Horizon. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the view screen. The ship was about to make history as the first human vessel to enter the territory of the Galactic Council. "Status report," Sarah called out, her voice steady despite the excitement coursing through her veins. Lieutenant Rodriguez, the young navigator, responded, "We're approaching the coordinates, Captain. The Galactic Council station should be visible any moment now." As if on cue, a massive structure appeared in the distance. It looked like a giant metal flower, its petals spreading out in all directions. The station was easily 100 times larger than the horizon. "It's beautiful," whispered Commander Yuki Tanaka, the ship's science officer. Sarah nodded in agreement. "Open a channel. Communications." The communications officer, a lanky man named Johnson, tapped a few buttons. "Channel open, Captain." Sarah took a deep breath. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the U.S. Horizon, representing Earth and the United Human Federation. We come in peace and seek audience with the Galactic Council." For a moment, there was only silence. Then, a voice responded, sounding almost bored. "U.S. Horizon, you are cleared for docking. Follow the guidance beam." Has the Horizon made its way to the docking bay? Sarah couldn't help but feel a bit annoyed at the lukewarm reception. Humans had worked hard to reach this point, and a little enthusiasm wouldn't hurt. The ship docked smoothly, and Sarah led her team out. They were greeted by a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. "Welcome to the Galactic Council Station," it said in perfect English. "I am Zorax, your liaison. Please follow me." As they walked through the station's gleaming corridors, Sarah and her team tried not to gawk at the various alien species they passed. Some looked almost human, while others were so strange they defied description. Finally, they reached a large chamber. Inside, representatives from dozens of alien races sat in a circular arrangement. At the center was a holographic display of the galaxy. A reptilian alien with gleaming scales stood up. "I am High Counselor Sith. We welcome the humans to this gathering of advanced civilizations." Sarah stepped forward. "Thank you, High Counselor. We are honored to be here and hope to contribute to the galactic community." Sith's forked tongue flicked out, tasting the air. "Yes, well, we shall see. Your species is quite young compared to most here. What exactly do you think you can offer?" Sarah felt her cheeks flush, but she kept her cool. "We may be young, but we're quick learners. We've made significant advancements in various fields, including weapons technology for defense." At this, a ripple of laughter spread through the chamber. Sith's mouth curled into what might have been a smile. "Weapons? Oh, my dear, I'm afraid you misunderstand. We're far beyond such primitive tools." Another alien, this one looking like a giant jellyfish, floated forward. Perhaps they refer to their projectile weapons, the ones that use chemical explosions to propel small metal objects. More laughter filled the room. Sarah clenched her fists, trying to maintain her composure. A small, furry alien piped up. "I've heard they still used fossil fuels for some of their vehicles. Can you imagine?" The laughter grew louder. Sarah glanced at her team, seeing the same mix of embarrassment and anger on their faces. Sith raised a clawed hand, silencing the room. Now, let's not be too harsh. I'm sure the humans have some quaint technologies that might amuse us. Perhaps they can demonstrate these guns for us later." Sarah stepped forward, her voice firm. "With all due respect, High Counselor, I don't think you understand the capabilities of our weapons. They may seem simple, but they're highly effective." Sith waved a dismissive hand. Yes, I'm sure they're very impressive to you. Now, shall we move on to more important matters, like how your species can contribute without disrupting the delicate balance we've established here?" As the meeting continued, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being patronized. The council members asked questions that seemed designed to highlight human inadequacies, and any attempts to showcase their achievements were met with condescending amusement. By the time they returned to the horizon, Sarah was fuming. "Can you believe them?" she asked her team as they gathered in the conference room. Commander Tanaka shook her head. "They treated us like children." Worse, Lieutenant Rodriguez added, "They treated us like pets." Sarah looked out the viewport at the massive station. "Well, they're in for a surprise. We didn't come this far to be laughed at. If they won't take us seriously, we'll just have to show them why they should." Little did the Galactic Council know, their laughter would soon turn to shock. The humans they had dismissed so easily were about to change the course of galactic history. As the U.S. Horizon orbited the Galactic Council station, Captain Sarah Chen paced in her quarters. The first meeting had not gone as planned. The Council's dismissive attitude towards humans gnawed at her. A chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. "Enter," she called out. Commander Yuki Tanaka stepped in, holding a datapad. "Captain, I've analyzed the Council's database. It seems they've categorized Earth as a Level 2 civilization." Sarah frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means they see us as barely more advanced than cave dwellers," Yuki explained, her voice tinged with frustration. "They don't believe we're capable of interstellar travel without assistance." Sarah's eyes widened. "But we got here on our own." Yuki nodded. "They think we must have had help or stolen the technology. They can't accept that we developed it independently." Just then, Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came over the intercom. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Council." Sarah and Yuki hurried to the bridge. On the main screen, High Counselor Sith's reptilian face appeared. "Greetings, humans," Sith said, his tone condescending. "We have reviewed your application for Council membership." Sarah stood tall. "And your decision?" Sith's forked tongue flicked out. "We feel it would be premature to grant you full membership. However, we are willing to offer Earth Protectorate status." Sarah's brow furrowed. "Protectorate status? What does that entail?" "Oh, it's quite simple," Sith explained, as if talking to a child. "We would provide your planet with protection and guidance. In return, you would grant us access to your resources and agree to follow Council directives." The bridge crew exchanged worried glances. Sarah took a deep breath. "With all due respect, High Counselor, Earth is not interested in becoming a protectorate. We came here as equals, seeking alliance and cooperation." Sith's eyes narrowed. "I'm not sure you understand your position, Captain. The galaxy is a dangerous place for young races. Without our protection, who knows what might happen to your little planet?" The threat was thinly veiled. Sarah felt her anger rising, but kept her voice steady. "Are you threatening Earth, High Counselor?" Sith's scales rippled, a sign of amusement. "Threat? No, just a friendly warning. Think carefully about our offer. You have 24 Earth hours to reconsider." The transmission cut off. Sarah turned to her crew. "Opinions?" Lieutenant Rodriguez spoke up first. "It sounds like they want to turn Earth into a colony." "Agreed," said Yuki. "Their protection would mean giving up our independence." Sarah nodded grimly. "We need to show them we're not pushovers." "Any ideas?" The ship's weapons officer, a stocky woman named Sergeant Lopes, stepped forward. "Captain, remember those new rail guns we installed? Maybe it's time for a little demonstration." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Go on." "There's an asteroid field nearby," Lopes explained. "We could show off what our primitive weapons can do." A slow smile spread across Sarah's face. "I like it. Set it up." Hours later, the horizon hovered near the asteroid field. Sarah had invited Council representatives to observe from a safe distance. Sith's voice crackled over the comm. "Really, Captain, is this necessary? We've seen what passing debris can do to rocks." Sarah smirked. "Just watch, High Counselor." She nodded to Lopes. "Fire when ready." The rail gun hummed to life. A streak of light shot out from the horizon, moving faster than the eye could follow. It struck a massive asteroid. And for a moment, nothing happened. Then the asteroid exploded. Not just cracked or broken, but completely vaporized. Where a space rock the size of a small moon had been, there was now nothing but dust. Silence filled the comm channel. Sarah could almost imagine the shocked looks on the aliens' faces. Finally, Sith spoke, his voice noticeably less confident. That's impossible. Your technology shouldn't be capable of that. Sarah's voice was cool. Perhaps it's time you reevaluated your assessment of human capabilities, High Counselor. As the horizon turned back towards the station, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. The Council had laughed at human guns, but they weren't laughing anymore. Little did they know, this was just the beginning. Humanity was about to shake the very foundations of the Galactic Order. The Galactic Council station buzzed with activity. News of the human demonstration had spread quickly, causing a stir among the various alien species. Captain Sarah Chen and her crew found themselves the center of attention as they walked through the corridors. "They're not laughing now," Lieutenant Rodriguez whispered, noticing the mix of curious and wary glances from passing aliens. Sarah nodded, keeping her face neutral. "Stay alert. We've made an impression, but that could be good or bad." As they approached the main council chamber, a commotion erupted ahead. Shouts and screams echoed through the hallway. Sarah and her team rushed forward to investigate. They turned a corner to find chaos. A group of large insectoid aliens were attacking council members and staff. Their chitinous bodies gleamed under the station's lights as they swung razor-sharp limbs at anyone in reach. Thoraxians, a blue-skinned alien, shouted as it ran past the humans. "They've breached the peace protocols." Sarah didn't hesitate. "Lopes, Rodriguez, with me. Yuki, get to the council chamber and warn them." The three humans charged into the fray. Sarah ducked under a swinging limb and tackled a Thoraxian, using her lower center of gravity to her advantage. Rodriguez and Lopes engaged two others, their combat training evident in their swift movements. But the Thoraxians were strong. One of them flung Rodriguez against a wall, while another pinned Lopes down. Sarah found herself surrounded by three of the insectoids, their mandibles clicking menacingly. "Now might be a good time for those primitive weapons, Captain." High Counselor Sith's voice came from behind her. The reptilian alien stood at the end of the corridor, looking both frightened and fascinated. Sarah nodded grimly. "Cover your ears," she shouted to the nearby aliens. Then she pulled out her sidearm, a compact but powerful plasma pistol. The Thoraxians hesitated, not recognizing the small device. That moment of confusion was all Sarah needed. She fired 3 rapid shots, each one finding its mark with pinpoint accuracy. The Thoraxians fell, their tough exoskeletons no match for the concentrated plasma bursts. Rodriguez and Lopes followed suit, quickly turning the tide of the battle. Within minutes, the remaining Thoraxians were subdued or fleeing. As the dust settled, Sarah turned to Sith. "Are you all right, High Counselor?" Sith nodded, his scales a paler shade than usual. Yes. That was most impressive, Captain. I've never seen weapons like those before." Sarah holstered her pistol. "As we tried to explain, our technology may be different, but it's far from primitive." Just then, Yuki came running back. "Captain, the council chamber is secure, but we have a problem. The Thoraxians have taken control of the station's main power core. They're threatening to overload it if their demands aren't met." Sith hissed in alarm. If they succeed, the explosion would destroy half the sector. Sarah's mind raced. What are their demands? "They want control of 3 resource-rich planets in the Orion Arm," Yuki explained, "and they want the Council to recognize them as the dominant species in the galaxy." Sarah turned to Sith. "High Counselor, I have a plan, but I'll need your trust. Will you let me and my team handle this?" Sith hesitated, his forked tongue flicking out nervously. But then he nodded. "The Council's security forces are overwhelmed. If you can stop this, you have my authorization. Sarah quickly outlined her plan to her team. They would use the station's maintenance tunnels to approach the power core from multiple angles. Their goal: to neutralize the Thoraxians without triggering the overload. As they prepared to move out, Sith stopped Sarah. "Captain, I may have misjudged your species. Good luck." Sarah gave a curt nod and led her team into the tunnels. The fate of the station, and possibly the sector, now rested in human hands. As they crawled through the cramped tunnels, Sarah couldn't help but think about the irony of the situation. The Council had laughed at human guns, dismissing them as primitive. Now those same primitive weapons might be the only thing standing between the Council and total destruction. The power core lay ahead, guarded by Thoraxians. Sarah took a deep breath. It was time to show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. The hum of the Galactic Council Station's power core grew louder as Sarah and her team approached through the maintenance tunnels. They could hear the chittering of the Thoraxians ahead, their insectoid voices echoing off the metal walls. Sarah held up a hand, signaling her team to stop. She activated her comm unit, keeping her voice low. "Rodriguez, Lopes, are you in position?" "Affirmative, Captain," came Rodriguez's whispered reply. "We're at the east entrance. West entrance secured," Lopes added. Sarah nodded to Yuki beside her. "Ready for this?" Yuki gripped her plasma pistol tightly. "As I'll ever be." With a deep breath, Sarah gave the order. "On my mark. 3, 2, 1, go." They burst from the tunnel simultaneously, catching the Thoraxians off guard. Sarah's team emerged from the north, while Rodriguez and Lopes stormed in from the east and west. The chamber erupted into chaos. Thoraxians scrambled to respond, their sharp limbs flailing. But the humans moved with precision, their plasma weapons firing in controlled bursts. Sarah ducked under a swinging claw, firing up at the Thoraxian's underbelly. The insectoid went down with a screech. Beside her, Yuki moved with surprising agility, her scientific mind calculating trajectories as she fired. Across the room, Lopes had engaged 2 Thoraxians at once. Her bulky frame belied her speed as she dodged and weaved, her shots finding their marks with deadly accuracy. Rodriguez, meanwhile, had made it to a control panel. "Captain," he shouted over the din, "I can't make sense of this alien tech. We need to shut down the core before they can overload it." Sarah fought her way towards him, plasma bolts sizzling past her ears. "Cover me," she yelled to Yuki, who nodded and laid down, suppressing fire. Reaching the panel, Sarah's eyes darted over the alien symbols. It was like nothing she'd ever seen. "Damn it," she muttered. "We need help." As if on cue, the chamber doors slid open. High Counselor Sith slithered in, flanked by several other council members. "Sith," Sarah called out, "we need to shut down the core." The reptilian alien moved with surprising speed, his clawed hands dancing over the control panel. "Tricky," he hissed. "The Thoraxians have locked out the main controls." A massive explosion rocked the station. Alarms blared as red emergency lights bathed the chamber in an eerie glow. "What was that?" Yuki shouted, still exchanging fire with the remaining Thoraxians. One of the other council members, a floating jellyfish-like creature, pulsed with alarm. "They've detonated charges in the lower levels. The station's structural integrity is compromised." Sarah's mind raced. They were running out of time. Then an idea struck her. "Sith," she said urgently, "our ships have emergency shutdown protocols. Does the station have anything similar?" Sith's eyes widened in understanding. "Yes, but it would require simultaneous activation from 3 different terminals." Sarah nodded. "My team can do it. Just tell us how." As Sith quickly explained the procedure, Sarah relayed instructions to her team. Lopes and Rodriguez would take the other 2 terminals while she handled this one. "On my mark," Sarah said into her comm. She looked at Sith. "Ready?" The High Counselor nodded, his earlier condescension replaced by grim respect. "Now." Sarah, Lopes and Rodriguez activated their terminals in perfect sync. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, with a deep groan, the power core began to power down. The Thoraxians, realizing their plan had failed, launched into a frenzied last attack. But the combined forces of the humans and the Council's security, which had finally arrived, quickly overwhelmed them. As the last Thoraxian fell, an eerie silence descended on the chamber. Sarah looked around at her team, battered but alive. Then at the Council members, their alien faces a mix of shock, relief, and was that admiration. Sith slithered forward. "Captain Chen," he said, his voice solemn, "on behalf of the Galactic Council, I must express our deepest gratitude. Your quick thinking and the remarkable effectiveness of your weapons have saved countless lives today." Sarah straightened, wincing slightly at a burn on her arm. "We're just glad we could help, High Counselor." Sith's scales rippled, a sign Sarah now recognized as deep thought. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "we were too hasty in our judgment of humanity. It seems we have much to learn from each other." As the adrenaline of the battle faded, Sarah couldn't help but smile. The Galactic Council had laughed at human guns, but now they had seen their true power. And more importantly, they had witnessed the courage, ingenuity, and teamwork that made humanity a force to be reckoned with. The balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted, and humanity was at the center of it all. The days following the Thoraxian attack were a whirlwind of activity on the Galactic Council station. Captain Sarah Chen and her crew found themselves at the center of attention, no longer dismissed but regarded with a mix of curiosity and respect. As Sarah walked into the main council chamber for an emergency session, she couldn't help but notice the change in atmosphere. Gone were the condescending looks and muffled laughter. Instead, many alien representatives nodded respectfully as she passed. "High Counselor," Sith called the session to order, his scales shimmering under the chamber's lights. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we are here today to discuss recent events and reassess our stance on certain matters." Sarah sat straight in her chair, feeling the weight of countless alien eyes upon her. Sith continued, "The human delegation has demonstrated capabilities far beyond our initial assessment. Their actions during the Thoraxian crisis were nothing short of extraordinary." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Sarah could see some council members nodding in agreement, while others looked uncomfortable. An avian alien with iridescent feathers spoke up. "While their bravery is commendable, are we not concerned about the level of weaponry they possess? Such firepower in the hands of a young race could be dangerous." Before Sarah could respond, a surprising ally came to her defense. The jellyfish-like alien who had been present during the crisis floated forward. "I witnessed their actions firsthand," it pulsed. "The humans showed not only great power, but also remarkable restraint and tactical thinking. They used their weapons to save lives, not take them unnecessarily." This statement caused another stir in the chamber. Sarah caught Yuki's eye, and they shared a small smile. Progress was being made. Sith raised a clawed hand for silence. "Indeed. Which brings us to the matter at hand. I propose we reconsider Earth's status within the galactic community." Sarah leaned forward, her heart racing. This was the moment they had been waiting for. "I move to reclassify Earth as a Level 5 civilization, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails," Sith declared. The chamber erupted into chaos. Level 5 was reserved for advanced spacefaring races, those considered equals in the galactic community. It was an unprecedented jump for a species previously classified as Level 2. As the arguments raged around her, Sarah stood up. "If I may address the council," she asked, her voice cutting through the noise. Sith nodded, and the room fell silent. Sarah took a deep breath. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, I understand your concerns. Humanity is young compared to many of your species. Our methods and technology may seem strange or even frightening to you. But consider this. In the face of a threat that caught this entire station off guard, we did not hesitate to put our lives on the line to save not just ourselves, but all of you." She paused, looking around the room. "We don't ask for special treatment. We ask for a chance to prove ourselves as valuable members of this galactic community. Our primitive weapons may have surprised you, but they're just tools. It's the heart and mind behind those tools that truly matter." The chamber was silent for a moment. Then, slowly, one by one, council members began to nod. An elder alien with crystalline skin spoke up. "The human speaks wisdom beyond her years. Perhaps it is we who have been primitive in our thinking, judging a species by our own limited standards." Sith looked around the room, gauging the mood. "Then let us put it to a vote. All in favor of reclassifying Earth as a Level 5 civilization, raise your appendages." Sarah held her breath as tentacles, claws, wings, and various other alien limbs rose into the air. It was close, but as Sith counted, a small smile spread across his reptilian face. "The motion carries," he announced. "Earth is hereby recognized as a Level 5 civilization, with full rights and privileges thereof." The chamber erupted in a mix of cheers and worried murmurs. Sarah felt a wave of relief and pride wash over her. They had done it. Humanity had earned its place among the stars. As the session adjourned, various alien representatives approached Sarah, some offering congratulations, others seeking to establish diplomatic ties. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and Earth was now at the center of it all. Sarah caught Yuki's eye across the room and grinned. The Galactic Council had laughed at human guns, but now they were eager to talk. It was a new era for humanity, full of challenges and opportunities, and they were ready for it all. In the weeks following Earth's reclassification, the U.S. horizon became a hub of activity. Alien diplomats and scientists flocked to the human ship, eager to learn more about this young species that had so quickly risen to prominence. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the ship's main conference room, surrounded by a diverse group of alien beings. Today's agenda: a demonstration of human innovation beyond weaponry. "Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished beings," Sarah began, her voice confident, "we've shown you our defensive capabilities. Now let us demonstrate how humanity strives to improve life across the galaxy." She nodded to Yuki, who activated a holographic display in the center of the room. A 3D model of a barren planet appeared, rotating slowly. "This is Kirks's IV," Sarah explained. "A world your reports classified as uninhabitable due to its harsh, acidic atmosphere." An avian alien chirped skeptically. "Yes, we abandoned terraforming efforts centuries ago. The acid levels make it impossible for any life to survive." Sarah smiled. "Watch this." The hologram zoomed in on the planet's surface. Yuki pressed a button, and suddenly, small devices began to appear across the landscape. "These are our atmospheric reconstruction units, or ARUs," Sarah said. "They use a combination of nanotechnology and bioengineering to gradually neutralize the acid in the atmosphere." The hologram sped up, showing months passing in seconds. The angry red atmosphere of Xerxes IV slowly began to change, shifting to a more neutral color. "Impossible," whispered a crystalline being, its facets glittering with surprise. Sarah continued, "Within a year, the ARUs can make the atmosphere safe for most carbon-based life forms. Within 5 years, the planet can support a diverse ecosystem." The room erupted in excited chatter. Questions flew from all directions. How do the ARUs work? Can they be adapted for other types of atmospheres? What about the effect on existing microbial life? Sarah and her team answered each query patiently, explaining the intricacies of their technology. The aliens were astounded by the elegance and efficiency of the human solution. As the discussion continued, High Counselor Sith slithered up to Sarah. "Most impressive, Captain," he hissed softly. "It seems your species' talents extend far beyond warfare." Sarah nodded. "We've always believed that true strength lies in creation, not destruction. Our weapons may have caught your attention, but this is the kind of technology we're truly proud of." Sith's scales rippled thoughtfully. "Indeed. I must admit, We may have underestimated the potential impact of humanity on galactic affairs. Just then, Lieutenant Rodriguez burst into the room, his face pale. "Captain, we're receiving an emergency transmission from Earth." Sarah excused herself and rushed to the bridge, followed closely by Sith and several other alien representatives. On the main screen, the face of Admiral Zhao appeared, looking grim. "Captain Chen," Zhou said, his voice tight. "We have a situation. A fleet of unknown origin has appeared at the edge of our solar system. They're not responding to hails and are advancing towards Earth. We need you back home, immediately." Sarah's mind raced. "Admiral, we're several light years away. Even at maximum warp, it would take us days to reach Earth." Sith stepped forward. "Perhaps we can be of assistance, Captain. The Council has technology that could get you there much faster." Sarah turned to the reptilian alien, surprised. "You'd do that for us?" Sith nodded solemnly. "You've shown us the best of humanity. Now it's our turn to reciprocate. The Galactic Council stands with Earth in this crisis." Other alien representatives in the room voiced their agreement. In a matter of minutes, plans were being made to dispatch a joint fleet to Earth's aid. As preparations began, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at how quickly things had changed. Just weeks ago, the Council had laughed at human technology. Now they were rallying to Earth's defense. She turned to her crew. "All right, people. Let's show these unknown invaders what happens when you mess with humanity and its allies." As the Horizon prepared for emergency teleportation, Sarah felt a mix of fear and determination. The greatest test of humanity's place in the galaxy was about to begin. But this time, they wouldn't face it alone. The universe had underestimated humanity once. It wouldn't make that mistake again. The combined fleet of human and alien ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the U.S. Horizon, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. The sight before her was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. A massive armada of sleek, black ships hung in space, their designs unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. They were arrayed in a perfect formation, slowly advancing towards Earth. "Status report," Sarah called out, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. Lieutenant Rodriguez responded from his station. "The unknown fleet outnumbers us 3-1, Captain. But with our alien allies, we've got superior firepower." High Counselor Sith, who had insisted on joining the mission, slithered up beside Sarah. "Captain, our long-range scanners are detecting unusual energy signatures from those ships. Be cautious." Sarah nodded, then opened a channel to the fleet. "This is Captain Chen of the United Earth Forces. To all ships, hold position and await further orders." She turned to her communications officer. "Hail the lead ship of the unknown fleet." Moments passed in tense silence. Suddenly, the view screen flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure shrouded in shadows. "Greetings, beams of Earth and the Galactic Council." The figure spoke, its voice eerily melodic. "We are the Harbingers. We've come to test your worthiness." Sarah's brow furrowed. "Test our worthiness? For what purpose?" The Harbinger tilted its head. "To join the greater galactic community, of course. Did you think your little council was the apex of civilization?" Murmurs of surprise rippled through the bridge. Sith's scales rippled with indignation. "We are the oldest and most advanced alliance in the known galaxy." The Harbinger seemed to smile, though its face remained hidden. "So you believed. Yet here we are, with technology beyond your comprehension. Now, humans, show us your strength. Prove you deserve a place among the stars." The transmission cut off abruptly. Sarah turned to her crew and the alien representatives. "It seems we don't have a choice. Prepare for battle." As both fleets engaged, the space around Earth erupted into chaos. Energy beams crisscrossed the void, and explosions bloomed like silent flowers. The Harbinger's technology was indeed advanced. Their ships moved with impossible speed and agility, their weapons tearing through shields like paper. But the combined fleet wasn't going down without a fight. Human ingenuity paired with alien technology proved to be a formidable combination. Sarah watched as a group of small, agile ships piloted by a jellyfish-like species darted between the larger Harbinger vessels, causing confusion in their ranks. "Captain," Yuki called out, "I've analyzed their attack patterns. There's a flaw in their formation when they use their main weapons. If we can exploit it." Sarah nodded. "Send the data to the fleet. All ships, focus fire on the coordinates Commander Tanaka is transmitting." The battle raged on, with losses on both sides. Just as it seemed the combined fleet might be gaining an upper hand, the Harbinger ships suddenly disengaged. The shadowy figure appeared on the view screen again. "Impressive," it said, sounding genuinely pleased. "You've exceeded our expectations." Sarah stood tall. "We didn't come here to meet your expectations. We came to defend our home." The Harbinger nodded. "And defend it you did, with honor, courage, and surprising skill. You've proven yourselves worthy not just of survival, but of joining us." Confusion rippled through the bridge. Sarah exchanged glances with Sith. "Joining you? What do you mean?" The shadows around the figure began to dissipate, revealing a being of pure energy. "We are the guardians of the true galactic community. For eons, we've watched and tested emerging civilizations. Your council," it nodded to Sith, "was but a stepping stone. Now, you're ready for the next level." As the being spoke, the Harbinger ships began to transform, their sleek black hulls dissolving into shimmering fields of energy. "You faced our challenge not with fear or blind aggression, but with unity, adaptability, and a desire to protect. These are the qualities we seek," the being continued. "Humanity, with its unique blend of innovation and compassion, has the potential to bridge the gap between physical and energy-based life forms." Sarah's mind reeled at the implications. So, all of this was a test. The energy being nodded. "The first of many. But you've taken the first step towards a grander destiny than you could have imagined." As the Harbinger fleet transformed into a dazzling display of light and energy, Sarah realized that humanity's journey was far from over. They had faced the unknown, united different species, and proven their worth. The galaxy had laughed at human guns. Now, it marveled at human potential. A new chapter in cosmic history was beginning, and humanity was at its center. Sarah turned to her crew, a mix of humans and aliens, all looking to her with hope and determination. "Well," she said, a smile spreading across her face, "I guess we've got a lot to learn. Let's get started."